sweet friends, to the channel Frugal Money Saver. My name is Emmy, my husband is Paul, and we're an early retirement, debt and mortgage-free couple living in the Hudson Valley area of New York. We are so happy you are with us today for Frugal Living in Real Time. We are going to be in the kitchen making a chocolate salami, no bake dessert. So delicious. We're going to be making a crock pot stew. Amazing. We're also going to be talking about this little gadget, which is called a kilowatt. And it shows you exactly how much electricity you are using on your appliances, on your lights, whatever it may be. Let's get right to this video. There are so many names for this dessert. Some people call it lazy cake. Some people call it hedgehog slice, and there's so many variations on how to make it, and we're going to show you a frugal way to make it today using cookies from the Dollar Tree. It really came out so delicious. So let's turn this camera around and get into the kitchen. We are going to be making one of the easiest no-cook holiday desserts that you can make. So simple, so delicious. The first thing is 10 ounces of a simple, plain kind of biscuit cookie. I got these in the $1.25 store, Dollar Tree. They're Almond Windmill by Little Dutch Maid. I think these are going to be perfect. They're a hard cookie. They have a delicious light almond taste. They're not too sweet. That's the kind of cookie you want to use. We're going to use 4 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 7 ounces of sweetened condensed milk, so that's a half a can. And we're going to need about 6 tablespoons of melted butter. And the only other extra ingredient is some powdered sugar we're going to put on the outside of our chocolate salami when we're done. So first thing I'm going to do is melt the butter and let it cool. While the butter is melting, I am going to take a rolling pin to my cookies and just roll them. You don't want to put this in a food processor because that'll just give you cookie crumbs. We want more pieces of cookies, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to do this for a second more. Perfect, right there. And you can see I have big pieces in here. So I measured out the 7 ounces of the sweetened condensed milk. Now I still have a half a can of the sweetened condensed milk. What I will do with that is take it out of the can and put it in a storage container with a lid and put it in the refrigerator and use it within another recipe very soon. Now I'm going to add the 1, 2, 3, 4 tablespoons of cocoa powder, and that is unsweetened. The 6 melted tablespoons of butter that has been cooled. And now I'm just going to whisk this all together until everything blends. You can see how beautiful and smooth this has come together. We're going to take our crushed cookies and we're adding them right into that bowl. Now we're going to blend this all together. I put a piece of plastic wrap down. Now we're going to take our yummy mixture and I am just going to put it in the middle of the plastic wrap. Don't forget to wipe out the bowl. And now what I'm going to do is just take the plastic wrap and I'm going to gather the sides of the plastic and just kind of mold it together into a roll. Now I know some people put all different kinds of ingredients in this. Some people put marshmallows, other people put nuts and coconut. We're keeping it frugal, we're keeping it simple, and I promise you it will be just as delicious. As you can see, I just made it into a log. You want to really make sure it's holding its shape, and it will do that easily with the plastic wrap. Now what we're going to do is put this in the refrigerator for at least 2 hours. So this chilled. So we're going to take that plastic wrap off. And I just took a cutting board and I put some confectionery sugar on it, and I'm going to sprinkle a little on the top as well. And we are just going to cover this in that sugar. This is best served cold because after it sits out for a while, it does get a little soft, but it is so good. Okay, so that's all covered in confectionery sugar now. So we're just gonna, oh, you can hear the cookies. Oh, look at this. Oh.
Here we go, the chocolate salami. Now I've never had this, so this is a new one. Yep. Okay, we're gonna have to make another one.
It's good.
This is delicious. Yeah, it's very good. It just works. It's such a delicious cookie. It's very rich. You can't eat a lot of it, but wow. Yeah, this would be nice. Cut this up and give it out to your friends, relatives, family. They're gonna love this. Paul approved, by the way.
That is such a fun dessert. Now you can take that and wrap it in plastic wrap, wrap it in foil, and then freeze it for about a month, and it will be perfect. So if you want to make it ahead for Thanksgiving now, that would be great. Or maybe later on, you can make it for Christmas. It's a great addition to your dessert table. So good. Now what we're going to do is turn the camera around again and get in the kitchen. We're going to make some really frugal, delicious, economical stew in the crock pot. And Paul's going to talk to us just a little bit about our kilometer. So let's get back into the kitchen.
2 pounds of London broil that came out of the freezer and defrosted, but it's not defrosted all the way. I like to cut it when it's still a little bit cold because it cuts very easily. It's not stretchy. So we're going to cut these into strips and then we're going to cube them. And I'm just slicing it thinner, make it little chunks for the stew. Instead of buying stew meat, which is quite expensive, hey, this was about, what, $1.99 a pound?
Yes, that's what we
Yeah,
paid.
so, I mean, and it tastes delicious. It really does a nice job in the crock pot.
So we have our ingredients assembled. We have the 2 pounds of beef, which we used a cheap cut, London broil. I have about a teaspoon of freshly ground pepper and a half a teaspoon of salt, but you season it the way you would like. So I have just about 2 cups of homemade beef broth and 1 cup of water. So altogether 3 cups of liquid, 3 potatoes, approximately 4 carrots, half an onion, 2 stalks of celery, a clove of garlic, and we like to add a dash of Worcestershire sauce, which just enhances the flavor beautifully, but that is optional. And a 1/4 cup of flour. And what we're going to do is just dice these vegetables. Now, while Paul is chopping the vegetables for me, because he's the best sous chef in the whole world, I am going to take the beef and dredge it with the flour and the salt and pepper. Now, you do not have to do this step, but I believe it adds so much depth to the flavor of your stew. So I have the meat here. I'm taking my 1/4 cup of flour, pouring it in, and my salt and pepper. And now I'm just going to coat the meat with the flour mixture. I heated a tablespoon of olive oil in the pan. And now I'm just going to take the coated beef and add it right to the pan. You're not cooking the beef here. What you're doing is just browning it. Just sealing those edges that have the flour on it. I've been cooking this, I guess, for about 4 minutes now, and I keep turning it. Look at how the edges are browning. That's what we're looking for. And I'm just going to do this for about a minute or so more because we don't want to cook the meat all the way through. If you didn't want to brown your meat before putting it in the crock pot, by all means, you don't have to. What you would have done is taken the meat, put it in the crock pot, taken the flour, salt, and pepper, putting it right on top of the meat in the crock pot, and coating it in the crock pot without cooking it. That's the only difference. We have our onion, potato, carrot, celery, all chopped up, and we're going to add it right to the stew meat. I'm going to add the broth, the 3 cups of beef broth and water, just a dash of Worcestershire, and we also added the crushed garlic right on top. Now I am going to give this a good mix. Everything is mixed together. I'm going to cover it, set it on low, and we are going to let this cook for about 6 hours. You can cook it on high for probably about 4 hours. You're just going to want to make sure that meat is nice and tender, and so are the vegetables. So I thought with the stew, some nice fluffy dumplings would be perfect. So in this bowl, I have a cup of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, a half a teaspoon of sugar, a half a teaspoon of salt, and I whisked that all together. Now I'm going to add a half a cup of milk and a tablespoon of butter. And now I'm going to cut the butter into the flour mixture. So the stew's been cooking about 7 hours on low. It's simmering beautifully. Now I'm just going to take the dough from the dumplings and I'm going to drop it in. Okay, I'm going to cover this and we're going to let it cook for 15 minutes without removing the cover. This is done cooking. Look at how fork tender the meat is. If you've ever eaten London broil, you know it usually does not cut like that. I cannot recommend this recipe enough. It makes a lesser cut of meat, fork tender, melt in your mouth, delicious. So give this one a try. That stew was Paul approved.
Paul approved.
It was so good. We loved it. And again, if you want to use even less meat, do so. Add more veggies. It's so versatile.
Try a little horseradish.
There you go. Put some horseradish on it. Every crock pot is different, so you're going to want to keep an eye on it. So easy, too.
My father gifted me this little gadget here. It's called Kilowatt. It's a electrical usage monitor. And this little thing is pretty cool. You can plug it into all your appliances and it'll give you how long it runs, how many watts it uses, and it'll figure out what your kilowatt hours are. You can write this down, keep a book, and then this way you'll know exactly what you're paying for with electricity. You can find these for about $35 on Walmart, Amazon, other places. This is an older model, so I don't know if it's going to look the same, but it'll operate the same. You can see your voltage, you can see your amps, you can see your watts, you can see how many hertz, and then you can figure out your kilowatt hour and hours that you ran your appliance. So it's pretty cool. We're going to try it out.
So Paul's dad gave him this just recently. They used to be avid campers, and they would take this with them camping because electricity wattage would change from campground to campground. So they always took this along to know what the wattage was when they were camping.
Yeah, they didn't want to trip a fuse at the campground.
Okay, so now they no longer camp. They offered it to Paul, and of course, he thought this was great. Just to let you know how much a couple of our appliances cost to run. We're paying right now 10 cents a kilowatt in our area for electricity. We plugged it in, we cooked something for 7 minutes in our air fryer on a 400-degree temperature. It came out to 0.19 kilowatts we used. So what did that come to? About 2 cents to run that air fryer. We did our slow cooker. 8 hours on low was 1.84 kilowatts, which meant it was 18 cents. Then we have a little electric space heater. We kept the space heater on for 3 hours. It used 4.12 kilowatts. So what did it come to? 41 cents. So it's just a great little gadget that we've been plugging in around the house and seeing how much we're actually using when we turn things on now. And it really makes you conscious of how long you're leaving something on. It makes you conscious of exactly how much you're spending for each small appliance, a lamp, whatever it may be. Now, please, we're not telling you to go and run out and buy this. A lot of appliances are listed right on the internet, how many watts they use. We were gifted this, so we're just having a good time with it right now. All right, we're at that point. We're gonna go back in time to 9 a.m. this morning, and we are going to pick our winner for our 30,000 giveaway prize. So let's turn the camera and go back to 9 a.m. this morning. All right, it's 9 a.m. Friday the 4th of November, and we are ready to pick our winner. So we put the URL of the video in. We are going to filter out duplicate users. We're going to include the replies to the comments, and then we're going to filter the comments based on the word grateful. There it is. 13 is the answer here so that they know I'm legit, and we're going to get those YouTube comments. Look at how many are coming in. 600, 700, 800, 900. Wow, 901 unique comments. So we are going to start right now. Here it goes. Here it goes. The winner is Lady D. Haney. Congratulations. Woo! Congratulations, Lady D. Woo! Yay! Lady D, congratulations. I hope you enjoy this. Lady D, please contact us at frugalmoneysaver@gmail.com with your mailing address, please. That was such a great giveaway. You know how much I love to answer each and every comment that you all write to me. I really take that very seriously, and you know I give personal responses, but this time I couldn't. There was 900 comments, as you saw. The majority of the comments just got a big heart and love from Paul and I to you all. And let me tell you something about those comments. You ever want to be uplifted, if you ever want to feel great, if you ever just want to be happy, come back and read through those comments of what people are grateful for. Oh my goodness. If I could, I would read every single one of them to you. They were so beautiful. I read every single one of them. I just physically could not answer 900 comments, but I'll go back to answering comments on the next video, I promise. But they were some of the most heartwarming comments that you all have ever shared with us. So we thank you again for getting us over that 30,000 mark. We appreciate you so much. Today's question of the day. We need your #1 tip on how to save on electricity. What are you all doing as we're getting into the colder months? Because we're getting a lot of questions about this. What do you all do to save on electricity as the colder months start approaching? Whatever it may be, please share it with us. We appreciate your comments so much. We ask you to take a minute right now and just give this a big thumbs up. It helps us so much here in the world of YouTube. We ask you to subscribe if you haven't. Leave us a comment. We ask you to stay safe. We ask you to be well. And above all, we wish you blessings. Until our next video, may God bless you.